library because it's great.
I like the library because there's a lot of books.
My favorite book is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. My favorite book would probably have to be Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine.
I like many different kinds of books, and I like being in the library because it's peaceful and quiet.
My name is Ik-Joong Kang. I was born in South Korea and I grew up there until 24 years old. I moved to New York 1984. We had a great staff, we have great friends. Became friends after starting this mural project. People from library, people from community become, one team, saying our own ideas. It's really fun to learn each other, and then I'm not a really just creator, but I'm just as an observer, also as a spectator. It's more like a chef at the kitchen in a way. So people, community, they provide already all the ideas and then all the objects and the energy. Energy is most important actually. The enthusiasm is important. Then I'm just I'm the guy who brought all this to my kitchen and trying to mix it up. So I don't know what kind of energy and taste will come out, but I never know actually.
I have been mostly a printmaker before. For most of my years, I have done printmaking, and I've worked with mesh layers. Well, when they came to me to ask me to do a proposal, I immediately thought of a book. If I could make it appealing to look deeper and deeper and deeper, the way it is with a book. The farther you get in, the more you get sort of the feeling, the mystery, and you want to know more, and it grips you as you go further.
Hi, I'm Buzz Spector, and I'm one of the artists involved in the Princeton Library project. My contribution to the library is a book, and this seems very appropriate. Most of my art is concerned with books, with reading, with remembering, and how a book symbolizes all these things. I think that because you can hold a book, the body gains a knowledge of it, which is unlike the knowledge you gain of other kinds of artworks. And this brings me back to the donor book for Princeton. You're not going to go into the case and read the book. You can read the book from outside the case. But you know that the act of reading is completed by holding. And in some sense, what it is, 1,000 people did, contributing money, energy, passion to the construction of the library, is something that you, looking at that book, identify with not only as a mind, but as a body. Mm-hmm. You could hold that book in the same way that you are held by the library as you read it. And I think that that's ultimately what libraries are. They are this vast and extended metaphor of books themselves. not just as indexing systems, but as that spectacular theater of language that we all learn about, first of all, when being read to by parents in the shelter of someone's arms.
Esta es una linda oportunidad en la que me siento bastante orgulloso de ser primordialmente del lugar de donde vengo, de Guatemala, y esta pieza que estoy haciendo, que va a estar en exhibición en la Biblioteca Nueva de Princeton. This is something new. Our weavings are totally different what we do there, and I try to incorporate some of those old designs with the ideas and dreams that I have, also with the colors. In my mind, I have the idea of the colors that I want to play with, but once I put one color, kind of pulls me to something that goes with it, and not that it's a perfect combination, but some colors really go with others.
I'm Katherine Hackl, and I have a studio in Lambertville, New Jersey, and I do primarily custom decorative tile work. I do primarily two different kinds of work. One is with red clay that I'll then use different hand-painted colorful glazes on. And then I do work which is a black and tan sgraffito work. One of the things that I like focusing on are different stories, and the tea set and the pottery work, I often do the Aesop's Fables and the different stories there. And that can expand forever because there's so many of the different Aesop's Fables. And the Princeton project is another wonderful one in terms of looking into different Princeton stories. This is my little office zone. These are some of the illustrations, kind of as I originally pulled them together for the Princeton project. Yeah, I start in here. It's a lot of drawing work. Actually, I start in the library is where I start, and I pull out a lot of different books and a lot of different information. I didn't want to repeat very familiar stories or very familiar images that are shown very well elsewhere in Princeton. I wanted to kind of pull out different stories and different things that were a little more curious and a little less familiar.
This is one of the things about conceptual art. One of the main points about conceptual art, I guess it was developed in like 50s or 60s, and that was the notion of context. Where the work exists is as important as what's in the work. And part of that context isn't just the wall, isn't just the light, it isn't just the dimensions. It's also it's the entire situation. It's the future of the work. It's me, I'm the context. It's the people looking at it, they're the context. So that everything becomes the context. So it's reasonable to allow other people to contribute to the situation. And I don't think of myself as an artist isolated in the studio, just doing my thing. Part of my thing is to incorporate other people in it.
I'm Tom Nussbaum, and I'm a sculptor, and we're here at the Argos Foundry in Brewster, New York, where they are about to pour some of my sculptures for the Princeton Library. They're going to be pouring the pieces in bronze. The figurative pieces that I do, they're pieces that are about kind of a state of mind or an emotional state. Say one of the pieces at the library, for example, is a bear, a large bear with a boy riding on the bear's back. And for me, that piece is a work about kind of a father-son relationship. And that's, what the work is about for me, but someone else may come to the piece and see or experience it, have a different feeling about it, and bring their own story to the piece and see it and interpret it in a completely different way, which I think is good.
Well, I started welding when I was 20 years old, and I was introduced to it by a friend who was a welder himself. He used steel rods and also sheet metal to create sculptures. So I asked him if he'd teach me how to weld, and he did, and I just took off. I just took off with using the rod. I just absolutely loved it. I loved being in the dark and the quiet and the focus. I love the focus. It's very necessary with welding because it's not only hot, but it's dangerous. So I have to know exactly what's going on at every instant moment. My mind cannot wander. I am into nature because I grew up with parents who were both naturalists and ornithologists, bird watchers to be specific. And because of that, by osmosis, I absorbed this incredible love of the outdoors and of everything that is in nature. And as I grow older, it seems to be more and more imperative that we look and appreciate what is outside and appreciate it for giving us the life that we have and being one among many creatures in the natural world.
Tar Beach, the first book Faith Ringgold wrote and illustrated for children, was a Caldecott honor book. Faith Ringgold's drawing for the cover of Tar Beach was fabricated in mosaic by Mioto Mosaics.
The piece is taken from one of Faith's pieces that was, I guess, from her book Tar Beach. It was originally a tapestry. The tessera is all glass smalty, made in Venice. Smalty being a mixture of metal oxides and fine-grade silica that is tempered when it's made, so that we could actually cut these pieces with a hammer that has a carbide tip. Everything is hand-cut, and the companies that we buy the glass from have been making mosaic for families for hundreds of years. And the secrets of the color are all in vaults, and they each have recipes for over 2,000 colors. We'll be back grouting each piece of paper with cement. We'll put mortar up on the wall, and we'll push the grouted piece into the wet cement. We'll beat it with a wood block. We'll get the whole thing up. We'll rub it to make sure everything is nice and smooth. So it's a real stressful thing because everything has to be right. The cement on the wall, the grout, and it's a lot of responsibility.